I can't believe I'm actually wearing this terrible shirt, but I promised people on Twitter that I'd wear it for the memes, so here we are. Please do me a favor and like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, because we finally have what seems to be some very concrete details about it, but specifically the very big size of this expansion content, which has me definitely excited about it. Now, a couple weeks ago, of course, I talked about Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, but initially I was a bit skeptical about the cost. The fact that this is $20 for an additional island and $30 if you want to play it on the PlayStation 5, that to me at first seemed a bit off-putting, but I wanted to try and be open-minded about it. I mean, after all, I completely love Ghost of Tsushima. It was my game of the year last year. I put so many hours into platinuming it and playing the multiplayer. It is such a freaking masterpiece of sword play. But I was kind of curious, for this high cost, how much are we actually getting of it? Well, today we have this leak, which says that apparently Ghost of Tsushima, of course it's adding this additional island called Iki Island, it's apparently 15 to 20 hours of gameplay. Now, before we even talk about anything else, because I do want to look at this in depth, if this is actually true, this is one of the biggest pieces of DLC I've played since The Witcher. I am so freaking hyped to go into this and find every single freaking collectible. I hope this is the case because this completely justifies the price, and I'm glad that they're actually doing it. But let's look at this article itself. According to a quality assurance tester, the upcoming Iki Island featured in Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut will add 15 to 20 hours of gameplay. Speaking in a post on Reddit, the tester went into a fair bit of detail about the new island featured in the re-release of this epic samurai title. In addition to the actual length, they claim the size of the island is roughly the same as the bottom half of Tsushima Island and is home to new wildlife including monkeys, leopards, and squirrels. Elsewhere, the players can expect new shrines, new compositions for your food, and new Mongol enemy types. Torches have also been added. There's also heavy armor sets to acquire, as well as 3 new horse armors and dozens of extra charms. Now, all of this is very believable on the surface, mostly because, honestly, it all makes sense. It's just more of what we already love. It's just additional content built into the ecosystem that already exists. Now, for the most part, this seems very, very real, but I don't want to show you the entirety of his post because it does have some stuff that I would consider a bit of spoilers and stuff, but there is some stuff in this that makes me a tiny bit skeptical. Let's just for a second assume that this leak is real, like completely just straight up, let's assume that this is actually legit. Now, something to keep in mind is that QA testers, these people, they always have a longer gameplay session than you or I would, because that's their job. They actually clock in and they are required to try and basically just test the heck out of a game, finding glitches, throwing themselves off cliffs, trying to do every single side quest. They're essentially required to do 2 things at once, which is love a game and completely break it before it has a price tag on it. But here's an example of somebody that's definitely playing a game much longer than a normal person would. Cyberpunk Tester says they haven't finished the game after 175 hours. Now keep in mind, the average person beats Cyberpunk in 15 hours, which means this guy played about 11 times the amount of a normal gamer, which kind of just highlights the fact that you can't always just take QA tester play data at face value, because by its own admission, it's supposed to be basically incomplete. It's supposed to be different from a normal player's experience. It is a person whose job it is to see and do everything. But even still, I think that this is a very good clue. I think that right now, I'm much more on board with the idea of Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. As we go into this next generation of PlayStation, I feel like we're going to start seeing a bunch of these director's cuts. I think they're going to try and do it with a bunch of their games to try and basically sell you the same great experience twice in a row. Like, that's why they're doing the Death Stranding director's cut. I bet you anything in the world that this year we're going to see a Last of Us Part 2 director's cut that's going to include the factions multiplayer, or maybe something like Ratchet and Clank director's cuts later on. Because basically the whole point of this is to make it where the people who already love the game are going to be willing to pay just a little bit more to go back and experience something fresh and new. And by packaging it together, it makes it where people are definitely going to go, all right, I'll go back again because this is just so much new stuff. I hope that this is real. Now, part of the reason I think this might be false is because some of the stuff the guy said in his Reddit post, as authentic as it seems, he gives a few too many clues as to his identity. I have seen a lot of leaks of actual player test data. Things like when there was all those Resident Evil 8's leaks coming out a year ago, there was all this crazy playtest data that turned out to be 100% legit. People that were definitely playing Resident Evil Village years before anybody else, and they were talking in detail about the monsters and mayhem, and it was all completely real. The stuff, though, was that was very, very vague when it came to identity. This person, in their post, which I will link down below in case you're curious for yourself, it does possibly include some spoilers for Ghost of Tsushima if you haven't actually played it yet, but it feels like they go a bit too far trying to prove their authenticity, which actually leads some credence that this might be just some fan posting some fake leaks. If it's real, though, if we're actually getting this, I am definitely ready for it. I want to say here at the end of the video that there has been some people that have been extremely angry that I've been just kind of critical of Ghost of Tsushima, but specifically these director's cuts. I think the idea of these games of paying for upgrades, it's still just a new concept. I still don't like the idea of buying a game and then buying the game again. Like, it needs a lot to totally win me over, but if this is even more than 10 hours of new stuff, I'm completely on board for it. $20, or I guess in this case $30, to see this game look and playing and running its best on the PlayStation 5 with adaptive triggers and definitely even stuff like all this new content, I'm on board. But still, I want to play it for myself. At this point, I'm very curious, but nothing can be proven until I get a chance to beat it for myself and make a review about it, which I'll definitely be doing next month when it drops. But what do you think? Have you had a chance to play Ghost of Tsushima? Are you excited about this DLC? Or are you somebody that decided to wait and now you're going to pick up this perfect edition now that it's actually finished? Because I feel like you are definitely the real winner of it. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Oh god, I feel like the comment section is going to be an absolute dumpster fire of people just claiming I hate PlayStation, or that I love PlayStation, or that I hate Ghost of Tsushima. I actually saw so many people on one of my earlier videos claiming I hate Ghost of Tsushima. My favorite game of last year, people are claiming I hate it. Stuff like that kind of just blows my mind, where there's these people, just sometimes there's people on the internet that just seem like they're sick, like they just have not touched grass in so long. They have no idea how reading comprehension or videos work. Please, just do me a favor, breathe some air. All right, actually, wait, why am I saying this with this shirt on? I have no ground to stand on. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.